right, so today we're going to talk about the volume of a sphere, and we're going to touch base a little bit about the volume of a hemisphere, which is half of a sphere. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I have here on your paper is the formula. So this is what we're going to be using. 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. And I have this in parentheses on top because I like to work all that on top out first and then divide it by 3. So let me show you an example of that with number 1. On number 1, the radius is 6. So if they want us to find our volume, so volume is 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. So if we substitute in our value there, we're going to have 4 times 3.14 times 6 cubed, all divided by 3. And I'm going to continue it down here. So 6 cubed, we have to find out what that is first. So 6 cubed is going to give us 216. So 4 times 3.14 times 216, all divided by 3. So now I'm going to do 4 times 3.14 times 216 in the calculator. 4 times 3.14 times 216. And we end up getting 2712.96. So 2712.96. And we're going to divide that by 3. So my calculator, I'm going to hit divide by 3. And we get 904.32. Now I want you to round to the nearest whole number. So this 3 right here, this 3 would not change this 904 at all. So our answer here rounded is going to be 904 centimeters cubed because it's volume. 904 centimeters cubed. I'm going to have you do number 2 for class, so bring that with. I am going to talk a little bit about number 3. So on number 3, they've given us the diameter, and we know the radius is going to be half of the diameter. So half of 18 is going to give us 9. So our radius is 9 inches. Our volume is 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. So we're going to substitute in our radius, which is 9. So 4 pi, the radius is 9, we're going to cube it and divide by 3. The next thing you're going to want to do is go to your calculator and find out what 9 cubed is. It's 729. So 4 pi, and instead of pi, I'll actually write 3.14. And then that number was 729. And then we have to divide all of this by 3. So now in the calculator, we can just type in the top. 4 times 3.14 times 729, hit enter, and then take that answer, 9156.24, take that and divide by 3. Now there's a 0 here, so that's not going to change the 3052 at all. So your volume is about 3052, and in this case it's inches cubed. All right? So make sure you bring 2 to class. 2 is very much like number 1, so hopefully it won't be too difficult for you. Let's talk about a hemisphere. A hemisphere is half of a sphere. So I'm going to write in red to the side here because you don't have to write it down. If we have 4 pi r cubed divided by 3, and we want half of this, what happens is we have 4 pi r cubed over 6. But then if you reduce 4 over 6, you end up getting 2/3. Now look at our formula that we have over here. 2 pi r cubed over 3. There's that 2/3 right there. So this is where it comes from. You don't have to know this. Matter of fact, I'm going to erase it. I just like to show people where it comes from. And let's move it down here and try it out. So on number 4, volume is 2 pi r cubed all over 3. And we're going to complete this just like we did the other ones. Our radius here is 8, so I labeled it. So 2 times 3.14 times 8 cubed over 3. The next thing you want to do is find out what 8 cubed is. So 8 cubed is going to give us 512. So then our volume here is 2 times 3.14 times 512, all divided by 3. So 2 times 3.14 times 512, and we're going to take that value and now we're going to divide it by 3. Now this 7 right here is going to bump this, so it's 1072 that we get as our approximate answer. 1072 meters cubed. All right, So I'm going to have you guys try 5, very similar to 4. The only thing that's changed is the length of your radius. So try 5 and bring it to class. And don't forget, at any time you need to pause this or back it up or rewatch it, you do what you need to do to learn it. I personally like watching it first and then writing it the second time, or writing it the first time and watching it the second time. So that way I see it twice. It just makes it easier for me. That's just how I learn. So however you learned, do what you need to do to learn the material here, okay? So let's move it down here. Just like we had composite polygons where we added together the areas of the shapes to find the total area of the composite polygon, we also have composite solids. To find the total volume of the solids, we add the volumes of the simpler solids. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to break up our picture into different solids. So look at 6. I like to call this the snow cone problem. What you should be able to see here for 6 is that there's a hemisphere, and there's also a cone. Okay? And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to find the volumes of both of those, and you're going to add them together. So first let's talk about the hemisphere. Today we learned that the volume of a hemisphere is 2 pi r cubed over 3. So let's go ahead and work that out first. So our radius is 5 right there. So we have 2 times 3.14 times 5 cubed, all divided by 3. So the next thing you're going to do is work out what 5 cubed is. And when you work that out in the calculator, it's 125. So 2 times 3.14 times 125, all divided by 3. So let's use the calculator here and do 2 times 3.14 times 125. Hit enter. And now I'll take that amount and divide it by 3. And I get 261.67. Now this 6 is going to bump this one up to a 2. So 262 is about what the volume is. So 262. Now let's go over to the cone. Do you remember the formula for the volume of a cone? It's area of the base times the height, but since it comes to a point, we divide it by 3. So the first thing we're going to have to find is the area of our base. And our base is a circle. So it's pi r squared. So then the area of our base would be 3.14 times the radius squared, so 5 squared. 5 squared is 25, so the base would be 3.14 times 25. And if we work that out on the calculator, we end up getting 78.5, which that'll round to 79. So our base then will be 79. So then we go back over here, 79 times the height, and the height of our cone here, remember height is perpendicular, is 10. And we divide all that by 3. So this is going to be 790 divided by 3. So let's go back in here. So 790 divided by 3. And this is going to round to 263 because that 3 doesn't change anything. So this is going to be 263. Now what you're going to do is you're going to add these together. Add these together. So 262 plus 263. Isn't it interesting that those are almost the exact same volume? It is to me. It's probably not to you, but it is to me. It's going to give you about 525, and what are our units? Centimeters. Centimeters cubed. Okay? So let's think about number 7 a little bit. First, think about what 2 shapes are going on here. And hopefully, I call this the bullet problem, by the way. You can see that there's a hemisphere at the end and a cylinder here. So you're going to have a hemisphere plus a cylinder. Okay, hemisphere plus a cylinder. So first let's think about our hemisphere formula. Our hemisphere formula is 2 pi r cubed divided by 3. Now our radius here is going to be 8. Okay, and what's the formula for the area of a cylinder? Area of base times height. And our base here is the circle, right? So don't forget that the area of the base is going to be pi r squared. I'm going to pause it here, not pause it, but I'm going to stop it here. What I would like you to do is finish number 7 for class. Now that you know these 2 formulas, go ahead and fill in the information and finish these ones for class. And I will see you then. Have a wonderful night.